Hello, everybody. Hope you all had a great weekend. It's Sunday night here, about 7:45 in Chicago. Um, just a reminder. So we did have end of the quarter and end of the month last week, and we're moving into quarter four for the indexes, obviously, and we had some incredible runs in the indexes going into the end of the quarter. Monday will be the first trading day of the quarter and of the month, so typically there's more volatility around end of the quarter um, and beginning of the quarter because bigger market makers or bigger hedge funds, mutual funds, etc., are doing their allocation around that time frame. So first, before we begin, let's take a look at, as always, our news for the week and what we should be paying attention to. On Monday at 4:30 a.m., you're going to have Great Britain Pound Manufacturing PMI. Then at 8:30, you're going to have building approvals for the AUD, and that's at night. Okay, and then 11:30 p.m. you're gonna have the AUD cash rate and RBA rate statement. So news out of the Australian dollar in the evening, and then in the U.S. for the U.S. dollar at 10 a.m. we're gonna have ISM manufacturing on Monday. On Tuesday, 4:30 a.m. Great Britain construction PMI, and that's really about it. Light news day for Monday. And then on Wednesday, services PMI for the Great Britain pound and a lot of USD news. Before the open, we're going to have ADP non-farm employment change, and then at 10 o'clock and 10:30. 10 o'clock is ISM non-manufacturing PMI, then crude oil inventories, and then for the European markets, we're going to have ECB President Draghi speaking at 1:15 p.m., and then Yellen will be speaking at 3:15. At 8:30, you're going to have more AUD news, retail sales, and trade balance. So there will be a potential trade setups in the AUD on Wednesday evening. And then on Thursday at 8:30 a.m., unemployment claims and trade balance for the USD CAD. And then really on Friday, that's our packed news day for the CAD and USD with unemployment change and unemployment rate for the CAD and average hourly earnings, non-farm employment change, and unemployment rate for the US dollar, as well as a couple of FOMC member speaks. Kaplan and Dudley will be speaking on Friday. So let's move in. I've picked four markets here. I really want to focus on the indexes. Incredible run. Let me just start. I'll start with the Russell here and then move. Let me show you guys a daily chart. But look at this run really since the contract opening of the Russell going back to the 8th. We've had, let me count the days here. Well, today is Sunday night, Monday, but we've had about 6.5% move, a little more than that, and out of 15, 15 trading days, only one day is closed red. So think about that. You rarely see that. 15 trading days, one of those was down, and it was barely down. So the Russell has shown us incredible strength, and I'd like to remind you that it is actually still the worst performing market on the year, and I think there's plenty more room to run. Now, this is the RTY futures contract, so the data only goes back to about the beginning of July. You really, if you want to take a look at a bigger time frame here, you can type in IWM, which is broken out here of some serious consolidation and is at, I believe that's all-time highs as of last week. So moving back to the Russell futures contract and my anticipation for the week as far as what I'd like to trade. Obviously a lot of strength, so I'm looking for and anticipating long side trades as support. First thing I'd like to say, do not look for shorting opportunities in the Russell. And I would just say that on the basis of we have 15 days that have traded and one has been down. You really want to focus on the side of the trend, make things easy for yourself. So what I'm looking for this week is a retest of really this area we had broken out from 14. It's about 1486 to 1483 is this what I have marked. I'm going to go ahead and create an alert at those levels at or below. And if we can dip down into these levels, I'm going to be looking for a potential support setup or just a continuation. And I do expect the Russell to continue to be one of the stronger markets at the beginning of quarter four. Then moving to the NASDAQ, which has been the strongest market all year, that had a healthy move on Friday, and I believe it would outpace every single market. So I'd like to pay attention to this area we had broken out from, which is a 59.55. Now, I don't think this is going to trade on Monday. However, obviously it could. But what I'd like to pay attention to is if we can trade that at some point later the week, maybe going into the unemployment on Friday, if we can pull back. So this is the area we had broken out of. And then going to the NASDAQ on the daily chart, you can see as the Russell's broken out higher, the NASDAQ from the contract open, I said the Russell was pretty much 14 days out of 15 days higher. The contract open here was 59.77. So we were barely above the contract open, and we've really gone nowhere in the NASDAQ. So I do think we could retest these levels down here at 59.55 at some point. And you can see on a chart, if you were to draw just kind of a zone from where I have that here, that green box, which is on the smaller time frame, this is an area of support. It was support, got below, is resistance, resistance above, got back above. So I'm just, support becomes resistance play. I'm anticipating pullbacks into that area at some point in time, whether that happens next week or 2 weeks from now. This is a zone I do want to pay attention to in the NASDAQ. So that level is a 59.55 to 59.48 for potential long trade setup. Moving into CL now, as you can see in the top left corner here, I do have the CLX7, which is the November contract for oil. I am not looking at the continuous, I'm looking at the November contract. We have held our supports that we ran into on Thursday, which really was the only red candle in this rally at the beginning of the week on Monday. We ran right into that level, checked it, and have been moving higher. I do think we'll come back up and test the higher end of the range at 52.43 on the higher time frame here. I still have a bullish bias. We've gotten above the highs in July, and if we can retest, and I'm looking really at a retest of the high we had broken out of, which goes back to September 14th. You can see I have an alert there at 50.88, and I'm also going to put an alert at 50.21. So in between this zone is where I'm going to continue to look for long trades in oil, and then above it at 52.43. Now that is the level we had failed from. If we do trade back up into that zone, which is also the high of the 26th, I would look for a potential shorting opportunity because I do see that being as resistance. I anticipate a consolidation here until we get a continuation in the breakout, which in the direction of the trend, which I believe is higher here, similar to what you had from, what was it, September 14th here all the way to the 22nd. We had a consolidation, which was holding higher lows and higher highs, and then we got that breakout on Monday. I do expect a consolidation in between this support zone here and the resistance at 52.43 that eventually trades back to the upside. I think we could, get as high as 53.50 on a breakout, possibly 54, but we'll have to see how long we consolidate sideways before anticipating the move or the distance of the direction and the strength that comes out of it. And then the last market I do want to pay attention to is the USD CAD, which has had a great reversal coming out of lows here. And I'd like to point out that this low on a higher time frame, and I'm talking a really higher time frame, 10-year, I'm going to go to a 10-year monthly chart, the low of 2011, which is pretty much the low before this gigantic rally, has come that low to high divided by 2, retested the supports in 2015, and has an incredibly big reversal doji, whatever you want to call that. I'm not really a candle technician, but big reversal candle. That's pretty obvious. As we close the month, as we close the quarter, we finished right where we began, and I do think that there's a continuation play here setting up in the USD CAD. However, I'm not looking to participate in these higher prices. I would like to see a retest of this 123.70 to really 123.50 zone, and you can see I have an alert set there, so I'll be looking for that trade to happen. And I do think we eventually get all the way back up to these highs that we had going back to August 31st. So that was the end of the month in August, and then we rotated down and pretty much closed right back at those highs here. So I do expect us to trade up into that 126.51 zone at some point in October, and I would like to participate from the long side down here for a potential swing trade in the USD CAD. But that's going to conclude today's video for the week of October 1st, beginning of third quarter fourth quarter. I am all over it. Sunday, long weekend, I should say. And if you guys are interested in more content from me or Major League Trading, feel free to check us out on YouTube, which is just at Major League Trading. Make sure to like and subscribe this video. It really helps, guys, and I really mean it. So if you watch it to this end and you appreciate this content, like the video below and subscribe to the Major League YouTube channel as well as the Nadex YouTube channel. Thank you very much, everybody. Enjoy your week. Trade safe. Take care.